Oh, we are live here at the World Championships of the Derwent class. Welcome to the best evening, the best session of the whole of the Australian Wooden Boat Festival. I'm Sal Balharrie. I am a writer and a filmmaker, and I am so lucky to be blessed to have an opportunity to be a storyteller on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation in Naarm, Melbourne. And I pay my respects to the people of Nipaluna, who have looked after these, have been the custodians of these waterways and lands that we have the absolute pleasure to hold something like the Derwent World Championships. So we have some very familiar faces here, and we're going to do a little introduction. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're actually, in a moment, we're going to have a look at some slides. But first of all, I love sailing. I love racing. I love racing boats. And I love a skipper's briefing. And so this morning, with great joy, I went down to the marina where the Ds were all tied up, ready to go out. And I was absolutely delighted to see Gus give his warm-up to the crew this morning. And I thought, Gus, it was really good that you got formalities out of the way and that you set the tone of gravitas and a sense of occasion. And there were very clear rules of engagement this morning, and they went like this. You can and will be disqualified for being a dickhead. Do not scratch mermaid. Give new boats a very hard going over. Do not be last. The line will be very short. Do not look for hard angles. Just find a spot. Any other questions? It was a fabulous briefing. And for those who were not lucky enough to get out onto the water today to watch this fabulous sense of racing, I, along with my partner Mark Chu, went out this morning. Mark's a fabulous photographer, and if you have not already signed up to SWS, why not?
Absolutely.
You will get free articles in your inbox every single Friday morning. It will become the joy of your life. It is free, so please sign up. And without any much more ado, let's take a look at what you missed out on if we can play the slideshow.
Commentary? Oh my god, really? Okay. Oh, there's a rockstar crew. Yep. Oh, there's my brother. Oh, it's really fast. Oh, that's us. Woo! Oh, it lines up in. Oh, the focus. Woo! Woo! The sausage! That's really hard to do. Look at that, mate. Oh, go greedy. What are we doing? Yeah, we had a long AP start, that's for sure. Not much breeze. Yeah. That's looking better. Oh, lucky! Look out. Woo! Pensive. Oh, yeah. Woo! Oh. Yeah, that's alright. That's good. Go Finlay! Oh, golly! Oh! Oh no! Oh no! Yes! Nice. Oh yeah, go Jimmy. Nice. Yeah. Oh, go Reedy. Oh, mate.
Big thanks to Mark for taking those pictures and then putting them into that presentation
So
in
quickly.
4
Amazing.
minutes flat, so thank you.
Wow. Beautiful, Mark. Thanks, mate.
So what about the results? Who
Well,
are we going to call down to?
Brent McKay, come on down.
Come on down, Brent!
So,
Oh, now, should we hand your mic?
just yeah.
Right,
Before
introduce yourself.
Before
Who are you?
Before he starts, hold on, Brent. Just
Hello.
before you start.
How come?
They can do that.
No, before
right.
you start, this man is pretty much wholly responsible, I think, for bringing Derwent classes to Kettering. He brought Janus into Kettering when we were kids, and Ollie and myself and him and Wills and our whole family sailed it, and then everyone cottoned on and said, wow, these are cool, and then started buying them and finding them, and yeah, so thanks, Brent. That's amazing, mate. Really good.
Working?
Yes, that's working.
All right. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see so many boats out there on the water today. A few thank yous. Probably main one is to Taj, even though it was a pain in the ass at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Setting the course, he wanted a proper course, so it took a while to get things started, but in the end it all worked out really well. So we've got some results here. So we've got PHS. We normally don't do PHS for Ds. It's normally first over the line and as you go, but this time we've got some PHS results. Gus, can you grab...
Oh, yeah. I'll do some things. Hang on.
do some things. So,
What am I doing? What am I doing?
Just grab the long necks. I don't know if you guys know, there's a bit of a tradition with these.
Oh, it's so noisy.
Traditionally, they had their bilges filled with long necks when they went to regattas. If it was down to Port Signet, Dover, Newbina,
Now
wherever.
we're too serious about it. It's too heavy.
So they weren't too worried about getting weight out of the boat, as long as they had lots of long necks on board. So that's the way these go, I think, at the moment. So we'll get into it. This is third on PHS, and it's a new boat, and it's Mermaid.
The pink thing. Hey?
Okay, in second, this is really happy about this one. This is Salamis, Kate Walker. Congratulations, Kate. Three hats for you. All right, first on PHS, and well sailed, James.
Oh, yeah.
Was Merlin, Dylan Reed.
we give him? Sean.
Well done, Dylan. All right. Okay, let's get into the serious one. Not that wasn't serious.
Another one.
Okay, for the World Championships. Third, Janus, Ollie McKay. Whatever you want. Just bring the rest of your crew down, mate.
Oh, golly. Thank you.
Who else? Come on, who else?
Rizza! Let's go.
Tommy. Well sailed, Janus. Well done. All right, we're getting to the pointy end now. Second, on a sort of semi-new boat, and Commodore of the Kettering Yacht Club.
Oh, no way.
Undine Nichols.
Thank you.
Well done, mate.
Oh my God, who's the world champion?
He's actually not. He's not partial to a speech, but I'll give it to him.
My crew couldn't be here because they had to go back to the old age home for curfew.
All right. This boat's got a bit of a story. It was the oldest boat in the fleet, and the officer today, Ian Ross today, or Al Taj, said, "I think I made those sails in 1992."
That shows, doesn't it?
Okay, so the oldest boat in the fleet, nearly 100 years old, and probably the oldest sails out there. And probably one of the youngest skippers, it goes to Nome, Nelson Brown. Get your crew up here, Nelson. Nelson's just broken the trophy. All right. I know Nellie loves public speaking. So would you like to say a few words, Nellie?
No, thanks, Brent. I just want to thank everyone for coming down and listening to our story. Like, it's pretty cool. All the boat builders who have got these boats back into amazing condition, and that we get to sail with 12 of them on the star line. It's pretty cool. Didn't help. Doing it though, dude. And my crew for coming along, they pretty much just got us over the line. I was just there, and no, it was good. And all the competitors, it was a great day, close racing, and the DSS for putting it on as well. Like, couldn't have done it without you guys. Yeah, cheers. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Well done.
Maybe take them all down.
Yes, at the end. At the end. We'll do that at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take them.
Well done.
Thanks, Brent.
Amazing. So we'll do a quick recap of, well, first of all, I'm Sal, and let's see if we can, there we go, we get this going. In true, it was really fabulous to prepare for this talk. We went away on a 5-day retreat.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We had 3 or 4 texts and a bit of a phone call.
Yeah.
In true D fashion.
Totally.
So there's some names here that are not on the board. But first of all, Gus, who has put this all together and
Tried to.
Gus, professional herder of D-cats. I'll jump to Kate, because you're on the board there. Girl Power, which we'll talk about that, Kate. The Flying Sausage, Salamis, and clearly did very well today. We've lost Cody, but we do have John, the Sage, who's the sailor of Gremlin, the flying tarp, as I've heard it called. And apparently you are a sponsor of Mitre 10, not the other way around, which is quite unusual. Yeah. Oh, you're the owner. You're the owner. All right, we'll clarify ownership. Once we get into this talk, because clearly Gus has given me the wrong information.
No. I've got two Johns now. It's confusing. Yeah.
And would you other guys like to introduce yourselves?
There you go.
Well, I'm Stephen Reed. Lee and I, my wife, own Mermaid, and my son, who's the sailmaker for most of these sails, he owns Merlin. So he's had it for a few years and we got the bug.
I'm John Minabo, owner of Gremlin. Owned it for 16 years, 10 of which she's been out of water under a tarp.
Yeah, do you want to? Yeah, exactly. So she was under a tarp. Okay. Fantastic. Well, let's continue along the line.
I've got one here.
Oh, great.
My name is Matt Stevens. I am co-owner of the fledgling little enterprise Tasmanian Shipwrights, which I'm a slave to. I have been slaving away at getting Mermaid ready to sail at the festival. And we did it.
Oh, just before you pass it on, do you have twins?
And I have 2 twin boys, yes.
Yeah, and I hear that there was a story about one of your twins the other day that came in to you and said one night, Dad, when's the wooden boat? Can you explain that story?
Yeah, so I think it was about 4 in the morning and Clyde came down into our bed and he's like,
Micah.
How long until the boat festival? I said, it's just a couple of weeks. And he said, I can't wait until the boat festival is over. It has been tough on my beautiful wife, Jess.
Yeah.
I'm Kate Wilson. I am the leasee of Salamis. Yes. We'll get to that.
John Brown, I have known along with Nelson. Well, Nelson's the major owner. Just recently, we've been able to restore Nymph. Unfortunately, she didn't sail today, but we'll be out there next time.
Actually, John, do you want to hold on to the microphone because we're going to come down to you in a moment. And Gus, do you want to tell us about who you are?
Oh, I'm Gus McKay. Reluctantly the president of the Derwent Class Association. And yeah, I have Yacht Goblin, and yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to, just a shock to see so many boats at this festival and see the work that everyone's done. It's just outrageous, and thanks everyone for coming tonight. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you love you, Jimmy.
So let's have obviously everybody, it seems everybody in this room has a very solid understanding of the history of the Ds, but for the 2 people here who don't, we're going to have a little look at the D history, because I'm really interested to know, and John, I'm going to sort of throw to you, but I'm really interested to know that when these boats these boats, there was a competition. It was a competition to find a boat that would help kids transition from dinghy sailing into larger keel boats. There was a competition that was A.C. Barber. Mr. A.C. Barber was the winner of that competition. There was another fellow, Douglas, who came second. They squished the 2 together, and Barber seems to have got the accolades. And then the boat was pretty much pumped out through the boatyards here. How long do you think the boats were built to last? Do you think they were built to be here 100 years later?
No, I don't believe they were built to last 100 years, but we're very fortunate. The original specifications, they had to be all built out of Huon pine, so the class boats were all the same weight. And that timber's added to the longevity of the boats. But 100 years, I'm not quite sure how they've lasted this long, but they have. Noam has obviously had some work done on her over the years, but she's still sailing and...
Winning races.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. One of the questions that we've got up here is, has anyone seen Imp? Because Imp was the first boat. Tell us about that.
We love to find Imp. Imp was the first boat. She was launched in 1927 and raced for quite a few years. But at a point in time, I think in possibly around the 60s, she was modified to a small cruising yacht, and it seems to have disappeared. We can find lots of stories about other boats, but Imp just seems to have gone off the radar. We'd love to know where she is. But after that, in 1928, there were another 5 built, and they started racing in the summer of 1928. Then progressively, there were more boats added to the fleet.
So we think there's 26 in total out there?
We believe there were 26 built. There's a little bit of controversy over the name of one, whether there was 25 and it was renamed, but yeah, basically 26.
26. And how many have we identified that we know?
We've probably identified around 21.
Oh, wow.
3 boats went to Sydney. Well, the Navy purchased one. We haven't been able to find her. She went to Jarvis Bay. And 2 other boats, Sylph and Sprite. And we have some history on Sylph, but that disappears in the 70s. And we believe there are 2 boats in Goolwa that have been heavily modified to open boats with drop keels.
And tell us
and
about...
apart from that, we can just about account for the rest.
That's incredible. Tell us about the names, the history of the names, because these beautiful names from sort of mythology and literature, where did they come from?
The person who instigated the design competition, I think was Edward or Edwin Webster from the DSS. And one of the letters he wrote to the DSS after he had Imp built, he asked that they all be named, or suggested they all be named after these mythical type characters, and provided a list which you could choose from.
Just to keep it on brand.
So, and fortunately, that's carried on, or it carried on through the building of the boats, which makes them unique. And,
Absolutely.
And the boys have all sort of, there's a bit of a gentleman's agreement at the moment to keep them different colours as well. So.
Yeah. And Steve, can I throw to you, if you've got a mic, about the process of what happened when, first of all, how did you come to hear about Mermaid, and how did you get her to Tassie?
There was 4 or 5 Ds on the slip at Kettering. We're all, as a group, talking about it. And the owner contacted Brent in Sydney. He came down and rang me and said, well, we better do something about this. And then we got together as a group, and then the group got smaller and smaller and smaller. So Lee and I took it on. We came up with a plan.
Classic D-class scenario.
Came up with this
Heaps of enthusiasm.
plan to bring it back to Tasmania.
So where was the boat?
The boat was in Sydney.
Whereabouts
so it was demastered, must have been, we got the boat in 2020, so it was demastered the year before.
Yeah.
In the Australia Day racing. Back then it had an aluminium mast in it, so it did a lot of structural damage to the boat. So we thought, great plan, we'll build this trailer and we'll build this frame, and John will drive up and get it, and then COVID came.
Yep.
So we built the trailer and we built the frame, but John couldn't drive up and get it. So we freighted all that stuff up to Sydney. Sean Langman very kindly loaded it for us, and then we jumped on Truck It or one of those things, and we got it moved, and it dodged all over the country and finally ended up here. And John and I went and towed it down from Devonport, which was the only bit that the trailer actually did on the road.
So you get this boat, it's on a trailer, you get it to Devonport. What happens next?
John and I went and picked it up, we brought it down, and then we parked it.
Where?
It sat at Kettering, at the marina.
Yeah. And was this pre or post the formation of the trust? And I'll get to Gus
well
to talk
pre.
about
Well
pre.
The trust is only quite young. It'd be 6-7 months old as a formal trust, but we always had an agreement amongst all the owners, and we always worked as a team. So the trust was just formalising what we were already doing.
Gus, do you want to tell us about the trust?
Yeah, well...
He's got a mic.
Elder Mike, you're right, yeah. Thanks,
You can have
double
two.
up.
You can
That's
have
cool.
3.
Yeah, I mean, so a couple of festivals ago, we were approached by an anonymous benefactor who now called the Trust, who wanted to come on board and were really passionate about wooden boats and had done some things in the past to help out certain groups and individuals, and they thought that we were the next best thing for that, and it just luckily coincided with, the Reeds finding another boat and a few others that were known about, and then they went just hell for leather and did amazing things to find other boats and to bring them here and find shipwrights to restore them, and yeah, we couldn't be where we are today without them, and it's just a beautiful example of our local community and people that want to help and see the beauty in something like
So
a
you've got the
Derwent.
passion in the community, but how's it flowing onto your shipwrights?
Oh, hugely. I mean, like Matt's been able to put, Shipwrights have been able to put on an apprentice.
Matt, do you want to tell us about that? Let's talk about that. That's a great story.
Yeah, I feel like a bit of a fake sitting up here amongst these Derwent class legends because, I've been out sailing with Gussie, for years on the Derwent class, but I've never had a very big passion for them until now, when I've just spent the last 7 months absolutely obsessing over them. But I just feel like the Derwent class community is such a special, rare thing, and these boys are a close-knit, supportive community, and the racing is just an absolute hoot. Everyone is just pissing themselves laughing the whole time, no matter where you are. I'm just an absolutely fanatically passionate shipwright. Like, I'm just obsessed with wooden boats. And so, I took the step along with Nathan, my business partner, and Jonathan Minabo in the early days to go out and start this company. And the catalyst for that was that the Trust had come along. They were supporting the Derwent class community, and there was work there for us to do traditional carvel wooden boat building, which is, it's a rarity these days because it's so labour intensive. The cost is just astronomical. The amount of money that have been thrown at these boats will never be recovered. But so for us, it's been amazing. We've put on an apprentice. We've got 2 casual employees. And the Kettering community is absolutely abuzz and humming, and it's very exciting for us, and I feel very privileged to be a part of it.
Jonathan, so you guys are working together, or how does it? Explain how? Why are you on the couch?
Why am I on the couch? Good question. We were in business together. So initially, we started the restoration on Gremlin under Tas Shipwrights. So we snuck Gremlin into the purpose-built lean-to next to the shed.
Purpose-built, love it.
Thanks very much to Phil of Oyster Cove Marina. He avoided council approval and dug out the bank and... We had a council-approved D-shed.
You what? Yeah. We'll blank that in the recording.
So, we had Gremlin and Mermaid in there.
Yeah.
So that's where I suppose I come into the picture.
And what's your history, your learning? Where did you guys do an apprenticeship, or how did you? The management of a restoration is a massive, great, movable feast of a Gantt chart. It's just, and I was speaking to Lee today about Mermaid, and pretty much we were talking about the stress of getting a boat ready for, there's the work that you guys are doing requires hands, and there's only so many hours in the day, and you can pretty much calculate how many days to go. Like, that's kind of the stress. So how do you, where's your learning come from, and how do you apply it?
A festival every 4 years.
I would add to that, there's only so many hours in a quote as well.
Yes. Yeah.
The rest is free labour.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you just see your hourly rate going, oh, we're 50 cents an hour.
That's right.
But yeah, so tell us a bit about your histories, where you've come
My
from.
history, going right back, I always grew up watching Dad work with timber,
Yep.
and I was like his shadow. I was always there.
Was he a shipwright?
No, he was. He built all the furniture at home. He built our beds, toys. He was right into model aeroplanes. He built those. So I was immediately magnetised to timberwork. My first toys were plastic tools. You know, I was always humbugging the woodwork teacher in school. I was always there, skipped class just to be in the woodwork class. And then when I finished high school, I went to the Wooden Boat Centre in Franklin and did it's only a Cert 2 in wooden boat building, traditional wooden boat building. And then moved to Kettering and spent the majority of my career in Kettering at Derwent Marine, where I learnt an awful lot, really honed my skills, and then went down to Oyster Cove Marina, and that's where I got to know everyone.
And who have been your mentors in the industry?
Andrew Demon, for sure, and an old shipwright, retired shipwright, Kevin Argent, who I met through, I was on a job for RM Marine and met Kevin Argent, and spent a lot of time with him, and he just spent so much time with me teaching all the skills he knew. He gave me his old tools, timber, so I owe a lot to him.
How about you, Matt?
So I did my apprenticeship at Derwent Marine also, and I worked under Andrew and Lockie McLennan, who was a fantastic tradesman. I was super lucky through my apprenticeship that we had a series of big 30-plus foot boats on the go. I owe a lot to Andrew, but also anyone down in Tassie, you know, once they learn that you're young and you're keen and passionate, like I've found that all these older shipwrights are so happy to give you help and advice. Since starting a business, everyone else, all the other people that we're probably in competition with have just had our back and are so supportive, which has been an amazing thing.
And you've got this exciting opportunity that you've got an apprentice coming on board now because of the work that's been created?
For sure, yeah. A big catalyst was that we're young, passionate, and Tassie feels like the home of wooden boat building in Australia, and we really wanted to make that, continue that and create a place where we could pass on the things we've learnt and continue learning, and keep that moving. And so, it's been really exciting to put on an apprentice. It's daunting but exciting,
It's all about pathways, isn't it? I have a boat in Melbourne that I race. It's a plastic boat, I'm embarrassed to say, in this forum. Ooh. Yeah, I know. I have an all-girls crew called No Man's Land. One of my crew members is here tonight. And I want to speak to Kate about this because it's interesting just how we need to bring young people and young apprentices and to mentor, but it's also about bringing women into the sport, I'm a big believer at our yacht club, there's no sign that says women do not enter. But for some reason, I'm a member of Royal Melbourne Yacht Club, and on the register of 300 boats, 3 boats are owned by women. And you're just like, how? What is that about? Kate, do you want to talk about women in sailing?
Well, I was kind of wanting to talk about being the leasee of Salamis and the fact that I'm up there as girl power, but that's good, and I really embrace that. And I have a fantastic crew that just happen to be girls, and they're fantastic girls, and we get out there and we have a lot of fun, which is what the D class is all about, and getting people who might not have an opportunity to get on a boat, not just because I'm a girl skipper, but just because of the lease of the Salamis. It's about getting people who might not have that opportunity to sail, to get into sail. So I have an all-girl crew, but that's just coincidental. Yeah. It's not deliberate. I don't intend to go out there saying only girls can crew on this boat. I just have a lot of really cool girls who sail really well. Yeah. So that's
really good. Well said. Mermaid. Who's going to be the custodian of Mermaid? I'm trying to convince Mark to move to Tassie because I would love to take that boat on. But what's going to happen with Mermaid?
The plan is my daughter and my wife will sail a boat
eventually,
but they're going to learn how to sail. And
just that small annoying factor of skill.
But the guys who built it, I mean, it's their boat too, so they can sail it whenever they want, and hopefully they'll continue to sail it. So
as the fleet grows, I mean, as we know, running a fleet is all about finding crew. How do you what's your pipeline to encourage more people into the D, to learn how to sail the Ds?
Yeah, I mean, we have such a close-knit community in Kettering, and the support from Kettering Yacht Club is amazing. I'd love to see a lot more younger people come on board with us, and we are still in our early days where we're still kind of stuck in our old crew ways, and you know, our mates, we want to sail with our mates and stuff, which is great. And it's a bit of a logistical thing trying to gather, and it's all about weight. Yeah, that's true. What does that mean exactly?
Is it light or is it heavy?
Yeah, I mean, they're small boats, so you can only take a small amount of crew, and so keeping those, crew numbers consistent is tricky. But we really want to encourage a young generation to come through and to continue on, because that's the only way that these boats continue, and that's how classes around Australia and the world have failed or fallen down, is that they have stuck with one generation and they've just lost that.
I mean, that's the thing that really draws me to the Ds, and as the stories, for SWS, there are two things that really punch above their weight when we write a story, and the first is the discovery of a beautiful craft in a shed, like that romance, that wonder, that, oh my God, what have I found?
Yeah, and then what have we got ourselves into?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's free.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is next generation, involving next generation. Yeah. So those two things, if we could write about that every week, bonanza.
Great. Awesome.
But what are your plans for that?
I mean, the last few years have been a real surge of getting these boats ready, and now our next step is really, what do we do now? We do need to get a bigger community of younger crews that want to sail and keep that consistency going, and I think that's our real challenge. But I think everyone out there who wants to sail them should come forward and really just put yourself out there and want to sail them. You don't have to own them. You don't have to, and we'll have a few that we'll be leasing as well, hopefully, in the future. So, you can do a year on, year off thing. And, anyone who wants to sail, we'll try and get a bit more of a social network of sorts, if it makes sense, on whatever platform we find. But
I'm only 16, guys.
Yeah, righto, Louis. You got your own boat, mate. You'll be right. Youth, buddy. Youth.
I mean, that from the outside looking in, it's an incredible success story. There's obviously a degree of X factor. John, what would you say the X factor of this, if this class is?
I think it's a lot has to do with the history, but they are wonderful boats to sail for a young person. I think I always say that. They're wet, but they are very exciting to sail. And from what we've seen, when we first purchased Nome, I think there were only 2 sailing at Kettering, but the boys were really keen, the McKay family. The X factor, I think, is just a young person's boat. The young people want to sail one.
But why is that? What would you add to that? Mini race boats.
Oh,
yeah.
They're definitely race boats, as Kate said.
Yeah.
It's great one design racing. I think we had a regatta before Christmas, several weeks before Christmas. I managed to win one race in Nome and still came last in the series. I think in that series there was a winner of every race. I think one boat won two. It's just so close racing.
I have noticed, though, for a one-design boat, there are a few tweaks going on. Do you want to speak? What?
As if. Didn't help me today, did it?
And so where is the Dyneema on your boat?
Hey, these guys get to play with wood. That's my joy.
We have noticed that there's a lot of high-tech sails slipping into the racing. So we might have to sort on that.
Right.
Quiet that down. I think everyone just need to find sails from 1992. Is it? Yeah, they seem to be the good ones. Yeah.
We might throw to some questions. Are there any? Oh, Mark Chu.
No.
The only reason I say that is it's a good defence against dickheads.
I'll just leave then. Yeah, I think yes and no, Mark. I don't know. Like, keep it fun. That's right. Keep it friendly. Keep it exciting.
But if I show up and I put Dyneema and everything, I put carbon, change the mast and do all this.
Oh yeah, sure. There's a limit for sure. Yeah. All right. So next week we're going to have a meeting in Kettering, and we're going to rewrite some class rules, and I'll just take all my shit off and redo it. Yeah, no, I'm there. It's all good.
In answer to that, the boats were very heavily regulated in their early days. There was only a certain amount of slippings a year you could do. They were measured regularly. They were weighed, the whole bit. And out of the 26 that were built, only 20 passed. So there was only 20 numbers issued. Only 20 of the 26 were built actually passed the measurement system and got into race. Yeah.
I guess I don't think you need to go that far, but maybe just writing down no exotic sales,
I think that's a general consensus.
Maybe it's the cool thing. The cool thing is that it doesn't need to be written down. That's just an understanding.
Yeah,
It also doesn't seem to matter.
You do need to write it down. What's the deal with no reefing?
You can't really.
That you don't have reefing.
You can reef.
We do, but
it's the general
a bit of a
agreement that goes back a very long time.
Yeah.
Don't reef them.
Don't reef. Yeah.
It's too nasty.
So they have reefing points.
Yeah.
But some have reefing points. But originally they did, but we've just decided we're not going to do that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. If it's too rough, we'll just go back to the pub.
Yeah.
Any other question? A question? Questions. Here we go.
Does anybody know what the youngest D class is?
Yep, Dylan's probably D18. D18, yours the youngest, Dylan?
Yeah. What
yep.
year? 48. Are there plans
Yep.
for new builds?
Yep.
Not comprehensive.
Not comprehensive,
They're
but
very sketchy.
But there are some guys here who can build you one.
There's plenty. You can take a few plumb bobs.
They've got
There's a whole fleet to take a tape measure down to.
Yeah.
I've got a question, because I've got lots, but why did the class fall away in the sort of 70s and 80s? Why did we need a resurgence? What do you think?
I think mostly because the older guys...
Plastic boats.
Yeah.
Fiberglass import boats made it simple.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of the sort of original owners or builders of those boats decided they wanted, a cruising boat, and it was easier those days just to have the boat you had and build the sides up and build the bottom down. Yeah. And that's what so many of these guys have had to do is, cut 3 planks off the top, or if the next one picks you, they're going to have to cut the whole bottom out and rebuild it. So, yeah, a lot of them went, we'll make a cruising boat out of a D class, which is heinous in our minds. Yeah.
And off she's gone, cruising. Questions? Thank you.
Just
Lee Reid.
What are you doing asking me?
Yeah.
A little bit of fun.
And I'd like to add to that, Lee, because, you know, I got to say, I won the last 2 worlds, but this year, I'm so happy to relinquish a 3rd because I am because
Just so everyone knows, the person standing up is his brother.
Yeah, shut up. No, it's awesome. Like, and thanks to the DSS because they put on an amazing show for us, and it's amazing. And because of that professional setting for the racing, everyone just lifted. Like, it's so cool to see everyone racing. Like, you know, you go to SB20s Worlds or something like that, and hey, yeah. They're gone. Yeah, they're gone. But this was passion and raw power. Like, everyone wanted every race and wanted every start, and so much that, you know,
what happened on the first
most people were over on the first race, and that meant we had a black flag for the rest of the regatta. So if you were over on the start, you were out, and that was mostly my fault, but I'll take that. And that's awesome. Like, everyone had a crack. Everyone did really well, and people that haven't done so well in the past did really well. And I think that's what's great about it. It's amazing. Yes. Really cool.
Is there another question? Yes.
I'd like to know what the ideal amount of long necks is.
Yeah. I think some of them become too light. I might have to put a bit more in, I think.
Definitely not enough long necks.
Yeah, all right.
It's getting a bit serious.
Well, might have to handicap some people with long necks, if that sounds good. Yeah.
So, any other questions? Or if there are, we have one here from Lockie.
Look out, Lockie Rankin on Pim.
I want to know what you think, being a young person on the water, the benefits of owning something like a D class, as per to what most young people our age are owning, like a jet ski or a tinny. What do you think the benefits are of owning a wooden boat with the excess in cost and maintenance that it takes to own one?
Community.
Jesus Christ.
Lockie, that's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah. You own one, mate. Yeah. Why don't you tell us? Why do you do it? Yeah.
And
you definitely couldn't afford a jet ski if you sold a Pim, though, mate.
I don't know. I could probably answer that. I'd say it's humbling. So it teaches you humility. So a jet ski you can own on your own. You can fuel it up on your own, drive it to the ramp and put it in on your own. Whereas for me, restoring or finishing the restoration on Gremlin, I couldn't do it on my own. So I needed the help of the local community, not only in Cygnet, but the community in Kettering. There's just too many people to thank. And then with racing, you can't sail the boat on your own. You rely on crew, and it's teamwork. So I'd say it's humbling.
Well said, Jono.
Best response of the night. Thank you.
Is Perry still around, and is there plans for it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Perry's now in the hands of the son and his son of the builder, and it's next on the list for these guys early this year. So we did race at the last Worlds, but now it's round at Tinderbox in a shed, and it will be back to Kettering for our restoration. Yep.
That's cool. Laid decks, apparently. Very cool.
Any final question? Yeah? We'll come down to this lady in a moment. I'll just go to the fellow.
Just a quick question. As you know, we just put the one that's been hiding on the hill in Cygnet and the Jesus ship, Cygnet wooden boats.
Which one is that?
Controversial.
Oh.
Controversial.
The boat,
awkward, really
Voldemort,
awkward.
the Voldemort of D's.
Well, Jess is thinking about calling it Undine Who. Because, yes. So
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit of a thing.
Controversial.
Which one is which? Does anybody know?
No, we've chased this around and around and around in circles. There's no identification on the boats. We're relying on what was written on the back of them. That one's the guy, Jeremy got it off, says it was Undine. The previous owner said he's never owned Undine, so it's a real, yeah.
So, yeah, I actually helped Jess to bring it down from where it was all this week, and on the transom it's got stone and layers of paint flaking and everything, and so they're actually going to go so gently because there's more than one name.
There's more than one name on it.
We need an archaeological sort of
We could pick it.
paint detective.
I think we just pick a new one.
A lot of these boats lost their identity when they were converted to a yacht. They were sold off and numbers were reissued. So it's really hard to trace the history on some of the boats because, once they left Hobart, they lost their D certification. So this is the only place they've ever sailed, really. I mean, they had a fleet, a couple of them in Launceston. In fact, Pym used to sail. I spoke to someone yesterday who used to sail Pym down here to do the Hobart Regatta from Launceston every year. So,
Crazy.
We had a question from the lady there.
I'd like each of the contestants up there on the forum to answer individually, but I would like to ask them all,
What are you doing?
is the X Factor just fun?
Yes. I think it's a resounding yes. Is that right? Yeah, it's yes. Definitely yes. Not to win, Jimmy. Just because we lost.
Well, we need to take some photographs of our champions. I think, Brent, you are wanting to get the groups down. And then first of all, we'll just give you wanted to, thank you.
Actually, I want to throw Gus under the bus. Is David Reese here? Come down here, Dave.
Hey?
No, we're just going to throw you under the bus here, mate.
All right, we've
Dave's got a bit of a story to tell.
Completely gone off script.
Yeah, we have gone off script, sorry. There's no one after us, though, is there?
Yeah, and there's no script.
No script. He's unprepared. David sent an email to the DSS, and I'll let David explain what he was doing.
No!
Come on.
No! I didn't think this was going to come up.
All right. Apparently, when Minerva was first launched, I think it came from Launceston. It was brought down to here in 1954 and entered the Royal Hobart Regatta. There was an urgent meeting in the sailing committee of the DSS who were concerned about the measurement and banned it from racing as a D. And it was reported in the Mercury, and that's where we found it. It was an urgent meeting. Imagine the DSS around on a Tuesday night having a meeting banning the boat, and they delegated Minerva to sail in the cruising division. I thought I'd put a stop to this, and I wrote to the DSS, wrote to Colleen, and said it was an outrageous decision back in 1954. So they're having a meeting in the sailing committee on the 11th of February to discuss this issue to allow Minerva back as a D class. And I encourage everyone to come along and just make a bit of noise and get it back on there. So. And actually, coincidental, a lady, and this is the attractions of the Ds, how strong, a lady from Victoria, from country Victoria, her family used to own Minerva, flew especially down to the boat show to see Minerva, to see her in the water, and she was hanging around, and she just, can I get on it? And she used to own it, for Christ's sake. So and so that's the attraction of the D classes, and she was just so rapt to see all the boats looking so good. So this is just fantastic. Anyway. Go for it.
Well, thank you very much.
Throw me on the
everyone.
bus. Amazing.
We missed the best part of the story.
Thank you very much to everyone.
He did miss the best part of that story.
Oh, what was the
yeah,
best
the
part
best
of the
part
story?
was that he did ask Colleen to do a review on it and then asked me to deal with it. And so I took it seriously because it was obviously a joke, but I didn't know that. And most of the time when Reezy emails me, I'm like, oh, Jesus, fucking serious. Like, I better deal with this. So I did, and I sent everyone an email saying, we should please reply agree or disagree if you would like Minerva to race in the next Worlds and be measured as a D class. And I did, and then everyone said they agreed, which is great. And then he came and called me and said, oh, that was just a joke. And I was like, are you kidding me, man? Oh, I feel like such a fool.
Thank you, everyone, for coming along tonight. Thanks to all these fabulous panellists. I'm in awe of the community that you guys have, created. If this could be replicated, we would love to replicate this across the Thames. I think there's a million One Design classes out there that would love to have what you guys have created. Congratulations, well done, and long may the D's reign.
Thank you. Thank you, Sal, for putting this together and dealing with us degenerates. Because we're next to useless most of the time, but we bring it together at the end. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Just from the Wooden Boat Festival, some more beer.
Oh, more beer. Like we need more beer. Oh, my God. Thank you. Amazing.
Thank you.